Goodnight, Wembly, Fraggle. A Fraggle Rock book starring Jim Henson's Muppets. By H.B. Gilmore. Pictures by Barbara McClintock. Gobo, are you awake? Gobo opened one eye sleepily. There was an eye staring back at him. Gobo opened his other eye. There was another eye staring back at him, and a warm, furry nose was pressed against his own warm, furry nose. "Oh, good," said Wembly. "You're awake. I was afraid you'd miss all the fun." "What fun?" Gobo yawned, and looked around the cozy cave he shared with Wembly. It's the middle of the night. Go back to sleep, Wembly." With a sigh, Wembly climbed up the ladder and got into his bed. Wembly couldn't sleep. For 3 nights in a row, he tossed and turned and worried about what everyone else in Fraggle Rock was doing. "I'll bet they're having a good time," he thought. "They just never wake me up to tell me." He curled up on his right side, but the bed felt hot. He rolled onto his left side and found a lumpy spot. Laying on his tummy felt crummy, so he stretched out on his back. "Gobo, how can you sleep?" Wembly whispered from his bed. "Don't you ever worry about all the fun you're missing?" When there was no answer, Wembly whispered a little louder. "Gobo, do you hear that click-tock, click-tock noise?" Doozer boots, murmured Gobo. "I told you last night, Wembly. It's just the sound of doozer boots marching along the rocky ledges." "Oh, now I remember," said Wembly. He scrambled down the ladder and stood beside Gobo's bed. "Maybe the doozers are tired," he said. "Do you think they'd like a helping hand?" Gobo groaned. "I told you the night before last, Wembly. Doozers don't get tired, but Fraggles do." "Oh," said Wembly with a sigh. Suddenly he smiled and snapped his fingers. "Then Boober must be tired," he said. "I'll go help him do the laundry right now." Gobo sat up. "Wembly," he began, but then he yawned. By the time he'd finished yawning, Wembly was gone. Gobo rubbed his eyes with his fists. Then he stretched and sighed and scratched his head. Then he fell over backward right into his bed. "Are you going for a trip with your Uncle Traveling Matt?" Red asked, when she and Moki saw Gobo the next morning. "No," said Gobo, yawning. "Why do you ask?" Red giggled. "Because the bags under your eyes look like they're packed." "I wish I could pack my bags," Gobo said glumly. "I haven't gotten a full night's sleep since Wembly started staying awake all night." Wembly? Wembly? Then it really was him, Moki exclaimed. "The night before last, he woke us to ask if we'd like to go for a midnight swim." "I thought I was dreaming," said Red. "You?" grumbled Boober, joining them at the Fraggle pond. "He banged on my door last night." "Boober, what's wrong with your hat?" Moki asked. Boober's old brown cap had taken on an odd new shape. "My hat is fine, but my head's not." Boober lifted his cap to reveal a great big lump. "And it's all Wembly's fault," he said. "Wembly hit you on the head?" gasped Red. No, Boober explained. "When Wembly woke me up, I hurried to answer the door in the dark, and I slipped on some spilled souffle." "Poor Boober," said Moki. "Poor all of us," said Red. "We've got to keep Wembly from staying awake all night," Gobo decided. "And keeping everyone else awake, too," added Boober. "Perhaps he's afraid of the dark," Moki suggested. Boober disagreed. "Poor nutrition," he said. "Too many moss burgers before bedtime. Or it could be a lack of vitamin F." He doesn't get enough exercise, declared Red. If he did, he'd be too tired to do anything but sleep. It's because he can't make decisions, Gobo decided. If Wembly just put his mind to it, he could sleep the whole night through. We must try to help him, said Moki. Good idea, agreed Boober. But let's do it later, after I've had a nap. It was nearly nighttime when the Fraggle friends arrived at Wembly's cave. What a nice surprise, he said. Now we can have a party. All we need are chips and dips and doozer sticks. Just as I suspected, Boober shook his head. No wonder you can't sleep, Wembly. Everyone knows that chips and dips and doozer sticks before bedtime can keep you awake for hours. Boober pulled a jar of purpleberry juice from his knapsack. 2 sips of this, he said, and you'll be fast asleep in no time. Nothing to be afraid of, Wembly. Just watch me. Boober drank 2 great gulps of purpleberry juice. Then he yawned and stretched and sighed and said, See? Wembly had to agree. Boober did look very sleepy. I've got an idea that's much more fun, said Red. You run up and down the ladder to your bed, and you wiggle your nose every time you climb up, and you touch your toes every time you climb down. Here, watch me. I'll show you what I mean. Up the ladder Red scampered. At the top she wiggled her nose. Then down she came and touched her toes. Then up again and down, and then Red yawned and stretched and sighed and said, You see, I'm already sleepy. I find nothing as soothing for sleep as a little night music, said Moki. So this afternoon at Inspiration Cave, I composed a lullaby especially for you, Wembly. When I sing it, you'll relax completely. You'll close your weary eyes and rest, and you'll think the words and music are fabulous. Moki started to sing her brand new lullaby. It began, Go to sleep, Wembly sweet. Take a load off your feet. By the time she got to the part that went, All your friends want to do is to get some sleep too, Moki's eyes were closed. You see, she whispered. Then she yawned and stretched. There's nothing like a lullaby to put a Fraggle to sleep. Wembly looked around. Boober and Red and Moki are nearly fast asleep, he whispered to Gobo. They're going to miss all the fun. What fun? Asked Gobo. Why, all the fun that goes on in Fraggle Rock at night, Wembly explained. Is that why you've been staying awake all night? Gobo asked. Wembly, every Fraggle in Fraggle Rock goes to sleep at night. Everyone? Asked Wembly. Everyone but you, Gobo sighed. I guess I can go to sleep then, Wembly said, if I still remember how. It's easy, Wembly, said Gobo. All it really takes is a simple decision. You say to yourself, Self, it's bedtime, it's boring, there's nothing to do now, I think I'll go to sleep. Then you close your eyes. Watch me, I'll show you how to do it. Gobo climbed into his bed and closed his eyes. He said to himself, Self, it's bedtime, it's boring. The next thing Wembly knew, Gobo was snoring. For 3 nights in a row, Wembly had wondered what he was missing when he slept. He'd been sure all his friends were wide awake and having fun. Now he knew he wasn't missing anything. All his best friends went to sleep too. Except for Gobo's snoring and the click-tock of doozer boots marching along the rocky ledges. The night seemed very still, and the cave seemed very cozy. Wembly took 2 sips of Boober's purpleberry juice, and he climbed up and down his ladder just as Red had shown him. Then he hummed a few lines of the lullaby Moki had written especially for him. And finally, surrounded by his sleeping friends, he crawled happily into his bed and closed his eyes. Self, it's bedtime, Wembly said, and it really is boring being awake when your best friends are asleep. There's no fun to miss, there's nothing to do. So thanks and good night to Boober and Red and Moki and Gobo and Wembly, he added. Good night to you too.